Not too long ago, the Houston Rockets sent over former number 2 pick Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, and the 10th pick of this year's draft, which ended up being Kaman Malawach, over to the Phoenix Suns to land Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is coming off a season where he averaged 27 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists on 64% true shooting. And with the Houston Rockets giving all of the offensive burden to a 36-year-old superstar, this would indicate that they're going all in on championship contention. Even with the Houston Rockets making one of the best moves of the offseason, if not the best, there is still some holes in this roster. And with the Houston Rockets having a bottom 10 half-court offense during the regular season and still being one of the worst half-court offenses in the postseason, Kevin Durant is going to have a lot of responsibility. And it's not like we can just ignore the elephant in the room. The Oklahoma City Thunder are just coming off winning a championship and still have one of the youngest cores in the NBA, with SGA, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, Alex Caruso, Isaiah Hartenstein, Cason Wallace. There are so many players that this team and the entire NBA have to be worried about. So with the Houston Rockets committing so much to a 36-year-old Kevin Durant, there are 2 players that I have in mind that will unlock a dynasty for the Houston Rockets. And those 2 players are Amen Thompson and Alperen Sengun. Now, obviously, both of these players are still very young, but I feel as though there is a ceiling that both of these guys need to reach this season for this team to be a title contender or a true championship level team. Starting with Amen Thompson, there are multiple different things that point me to the direction of believing that Amen Thompson could be an all-star caliber player by as quick as next season. For most people, he's the most athletic player in the NBA, and for majority of people, he's top 5. And not only that, he could be used in multiple different situations, whether it's defensively, whether it's as a second side rim protector, a point of attack defender, a lob threat, an offensive rebounder, being one of the best transition players in the entire NBA. Amen Thompson has a ceiling that not many players in the NBA possess. Amen Thompson's coming off a season where he averaged 14 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists on 60% true shooting and 60% inside the arc. And I know you're wondering, why is a guy that is a limited shooter averaging this high of a field goal percentage inside the arc? And that comes in a multitude of different ways. Amen Thompson, being one of the most athletic players in the league, helps him in transition, being so athletic and getting up and down the floor extremely fast. Whether it's off the ball in transition or with the ball in his hand straight off rebounds, Amen Thompson is not a player that you can stick with in transition, being able to switch his speeds and get through lanes as quickly as he does. If we could just take a look at how quickly he gets up and down the floor, even then he gets a split second taken away from him by Alperen Sengun securing the rebound, but then again he's able to adjust his body and finish at the rim. In transition, Amen Thompson averages 3.5 possessions a game on a 1.16 points per possession. He's also shooting 72% in the restricted area and 53% on floaters. And a lot of things that get very underrated in Amen Thompson's transition game is how he's able to hezzy at the guy picking up the ball, creating space for him to finish around the rim. Now, if you watch Amen Thompson in a regular game, this is how he's being guarded, completely ignored from the 3-point line and dared to shoot. But even with the lack of 3-point shooting, I think he counters that by being one of the better off-ball players in the league and finding nooks and openings to cut and capitalize on defensive weak points. Even in this clip here, he runs a pretty good 3-man game with himself and Dillon Brooks and Alperen Sengun. Here he's going to act like he's setting the screen and then cut straight to the basket for the easy layup. And here he counters being ignored from the 3-point line by cutting to the basket with almost impeccable timing. Van Fleet's going to drive and he's going to cut at the same time, making Aaron Wiggins have to choose. A few strengths I have for Amen Thompson is his versatility, rebounding, off-ball play, and his defense. These are things he's going to have to continue to do next season for the Houston Rockets or even improve at. And some of his improvement areas would be his screen navigation, which we will get into, his handle, which we will get into, and his outside shooting. And the reason I bring up the handle is because a lot of people have flirted with the idea of Amen Thompson becoming a point guard. I just do not see the ball handle to consistently create shots for himself or for others consistently at a full-time rate, especially the passing. He has shown a lot of signs as a really good interior passer, but sometimes he leans on his athleticism a little bit more than the ball handle and the craft to be able to create his own shot. A lot of it is just being able to have small counters to when defenders try and take away his driving angle in transition, but the ball handle just is not consistent enough for me to say that he can be a main ball handler for a team that's trying to contend in the Western Conference. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Not all guys who stand at 6'6", 6'7", or above and are fluid athletes should be able to handle the ball. This is not something that should be a necessity in today's NBA. Sometimes it's okay to not be able to have the ball handle of a point guard or to have the floor reading ability of a point guard. Amen Thompson could just end up being a really good wing who can play really good off the ball, attack the basket, and play phenomenal defense. But enough with the offensive stuff. It's time to go over what makes Amen Thompson a future all-star in this league. Amen Thompson is one of the most versatile defenders in the NBA, being able to guard at the point of attack, being able to be a help side rim protector, and to be one of the best rebounders at his position. This shows a lot of defensive potential and a lot of defensive impact for the Houston Rockets. In the 2024-2025 NBA season, the Houston Rockets ranked 5th in defense and were only 1.2 points behind the second-rated defense in the NBA, the Orlando Magic. And Amen Thompson could be extremely valuable in multiple different assets of the game. Him having the recovery time to be able to stay in any play imaginable can only wreak havoc on NBA offenses. And his versatility. Here you can see him switching on Kevin Porter Jr. and being able to contain the ball handler and get the stop. Or in this clip here where he's containing the ball once again and having the athleticism and vertical leap to contest any shot imaginable. Let's just see what he does to Jared McCain here. Here he's going to stop the ball, chase around, and have the recovery time to stay in the play and then contest the shot with ease. Or we can look at this clip against DeMar DeRozan, who has one of the better pump fakes in the NBA. Here he's going to stay in front of him on the perimeter and time the jump perfectly to contest the shot late in game. Here's another look at him guarding on the perimeter and being able to recover. Here he gets beat driving to the lane, but he recovers and still impacts the shot. The only concern I have with the men's defense is he gives up a lot of space on-ball screens. Here Jamal Murray has a clean pull-up mid-range opportunity, he just doesn't take it. Or we can look at this clip again where he's guarding Jamal Murray on the perimeter and another simple on-ball screen creates a lot of space for Jamal Murray to operate. All in all, I think Amen Thompson has an extremely high ceiling, and I think there's a world where he can be an all-star candidate coming into the season. I think he has a lot of things that could help out this Houston Rockets team, and this is why I think he could be a key contributor to a potential Rockets dynasty. But he's not the only player we're going to be talking about. The other player we're going to be talking about is Alperen Sengun, who is going to be the other side of why the Houston Rockets can become a potential dynasty. This season, Alperen Sengun averaged 19 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists, but he averaged 52% inside the arc and only 54% true shooting. Alperen Sengun also shot 65% at the rim, 42% in the paint non-restricted area, and 37% from the mid-range. And when I think about Alperen Sengun's game, it's not the talent. I think Alperen Sengun is one of the most talented centers in the league with his footwork and his ability to score out of the post consistently. And in my opinion, I think the efficiency after this season has went down a lot. Alperen Sengun does not have a problem getting to the basket. He does not have a problem working against bigger centers because he only stands at 6'9". It's just putting it in the basket consistently. That's why you see the true shooting fall below average, especially for a center. Throughout Alperen Sengun's very short 4-year career, he's averaged at minimum 58% true shooting 2 times out of the 4 years he's played. And this 54% true shooting would be the lowest of his career. This season, Alperen Sengun averaged about 6 post-ups per game, which would finish top 5, and 3 isolations per game, which would put him at the highest in the NBA for any true center. And like I said earlier with Alperen Sengun, I don't think it's the talent. I just think it's the consistency. Here he's able to go the up and under against Alex Sarr, which is a very skilled defensive big, and put the ball in the basket. Or against the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year in Rudy Gobert. Here he gets to the rim pretty effortlessly, just backing him down and getting really good positioning to put the ball in the basket. Or where he's going to get the ball at the top of the key against the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year again and use contact to create separation and put the ball in the basket again. And with all the skill, the craft, and the counters that Alperen Sengun possesses is what's going to make him one of the better big man scorers in the league. We have to remember that Alperen Sengun is only 23 years old. He's had 2 seasons where he's averaged at least 58% true shooting, and this season may have just been a down year for him. I think some of the discrepancies with his game could be having to deal with the fact of not having a lot of elite shooters or just a lot of league average shooters around him in Houston. Houston was one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league last year. And I do feel as though his processing needs to just become a little quicker. When you have to score in isolation or with your back to the basket for that long, that could be a problem, especially if you're not bringing out elite efficiency. I think Alperen Sengun have the talent to put the ball on the floor, to have the talent of the footwork that he possesses. He should be able to have more quick hits, be able to attack guys off the dribble, be able to make quick spins and get to the basket, quick up and unders, quick hook shots, and have the passing ability that he has. He should be much better in the offensive side of the floor. But I do think as a passer, Amen Thompson shows a really good ability to play in DHOs. He can do that with Kevin Durant, who is one of the best pull-up mid-range shooters the league has ever seen. He can also do this with guys like Amen Thompson, who is the best athlete in the league and can get to the rim with ease. He can also do this with Fred VanVleet, someone who can control the ball for the team and make reads for guys like Amen, Jabari, Tari, Sengun himself, and others. So do you guys remember there was a tweet that said, the OKC Thunder dynasty starts with Jalen Williams? Well, I think the Houston Rockets championship level team years start with Alperen Sengun and Amen Thompson. Let's not forget how Alperen Sengun became a much better defender this season with the ability to guard out in space and became such a better rim protector as well. And let's not forget, Alperen Sengun is coming off of his first All-Star appearance. There is a world where he could be right back to above average efficiency and still be a 21 to 24 point per game scorer for the Houston Rockets. And I do think both of these players have extremely high ceilings. And if these guys could get closer to what I think they can be in 3 to 4 years this season, the Houston Rockets could be the scariest team in the Western Conference. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys like this type of content, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you guys follow me on TikTok at @TheBuzzerENT. Make sure you guys join my playback room at @TheBuzzerSports. And make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at ATBSports1. Be sure to click the link in the description that will send you over to the Hoop Talk podcast with me and Mars Talk Sports. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.